The Dallas Cowboys are far from the gold standard when it comes to asset management. They insist on being passive with contract extensions despite the obvious financial benefits that come with being proactive. This isn't news. Had they extended Micah Parsons ahead of time, they could be working on new deals for star left guard Tyler Smith, cornerback Darren Bland, and kicker Brandon Aubrey. Despite all of the Cowboys' contractual mishaps, you never hear a word about players requesting a trade out of Dallas. The 49ers are the gold standard in that department, and they were hit with another contract ultimatum from breakout wide receiver Jennings on Monday. Jennings has approached the 49ers about his request, but little progress has been made, a source told ESPN. Adam Schefter reported. If a new deal is not reached by the time training camp starts next week, Jennings plans to request a trade to a team willing to pay him. Jauan Jennings setting contract ultimatum with 49ers is comedy gold for the Cowboys. Between Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, George Kittle, and now Jennings, the 49ers have had no shortage of high-profile players pop up in trade rumors. Jennings got a 2-year, $15.4 million extension from the 49ers last May. The $7.7 million annual average value was fair given his penchant for moving the chains in critical situations. He is also among the best run-blocking receivers in the game. However, Jennings clearly feels his value has skyrocketed after he emerged as one of Brock Purdy's go-to targets last season in the wake of Brandon Ayuk's ACL injury. Jennings doubled his previous career highs with 77 catches and 975 yards to go with a personal best 6 touchdowns. The 49ers traded away Deebo Samuel this offseason, and it remains unclear if Ayuk will be ready for Week 1. Everything is shaping up for Jennings to have another high usage rate. It is easy to see why he wants a raise, and he probably deserves one given fellow wideouts Tutu Atwell, Dyami Brown, and Joshua Palmer will all make $10 million this season. Jennings is arguably the better all-around player than each of them. The problem the 49ers have is that they gave Ayuk $30 million per year last year and recently signed Brock Purdy, tight end George Kittle, and linebacker Fred Warner to lucrative extensions. You have to wonder if they have the wiggle room to pay Jennings what he wants. Simply put, Jennings is a winning player, and Dallas will potentially slug it out with San Francisco for one of the 3 wild card spots in the NFC. Assuming Schefter's timeline is accurate, the 49ers have less than a week to get this sorted, or they will lose one of their most underrated players. That would be great news for the Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have a lot of future business ahead of them in the coming months. Alongside the looming contract of Micah Parsons, there are also many other players who are entering the window for contract negotiations that the Cowboys must make a decision on soon. Among the top priorities on that list is star cornerback Darren Bland, who has emerged as the Cowboys' top defensive back over the last 2 seasons. But now, the price to retain Bland may have just gotten significantly higher. On Tuesday, the New York Jets signed their own star corner, Sauce Gardner, to a massive 4-year, $120.4 million deal, making him the highest-paid corner in NFL history. And while Bland was never going to command that type of money, Gardner resetting the market with his new deal will certainly play a role in his negotiations with the Cowboys going forward. Gardner, of course, is recognized as one of the best players at his position in the league. In his first 3 seasons in New York, Gardner has been named a first-team All-Pro twice, made 2 Pro Bowls, and was named the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2022. In that time, he made 181 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 40 pass deflections, and 3 interceptions in 48 games. He also ranked 46th in the NFL at his position in overall grade last season, as well as ranking 33rd in coverage grade per Pro Football Focus. Bland, meanwhile, has been elite in his own right since coming into the NFL as part of the same draft class as Gardner. Since 2022, Bland has been a first-team All-Pro, has won Pro Bowl, and led the NFL in interceptions in 2023. He has 164 tackles, 27 pass breakups, and 14 interceptions with 5 defensive touchdowns in his career. With Gardner now the highest-paid corner, where Bland fits in with the market remains to be seen. Below Gardner is Texans corner Derek Stingley Jr. at $30 million per year, followed by Panthers corner J.C. Horn at $25 million, New Steelers corner Jalen Ramsey and $24.1 million, and Broncos star Patrick Surtain too at $24 million. If Bland can command that kind of money, the Cowboys will have to think very hard in the coming months about whether or not it is worth bringing him back, or finding another destination for him via trade. The Dallas Cowboys have a new potential trade target: San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Jauan Jennings. Jennings wants a new contract with the 49ers after a successful season and will only earn $7.5 million under his current deal. As a result, Jennings would like to receive his paycheck from the 49ers or be traded to San Francisco. This could give the Cowboys a natural target on the market. Jennings, 28, had 77 receptions for 975 yards and 6 touchdowns last season, a career high in all categories. He is now expected to be the team's second wide receiver to start the year, provided Brandon Ayuk can recover in time for the start of the year. This makes him a vital piece for the 49ers. A former 7th-round pick out of Tennessee, Jennings slowly emerged and developed a niche role as a blocking wide receiver who would do the dirty work before expanding his role last year with injuries and uncertainty in the 49ers' wide receiver room. The likely cost for someone like Jennings would be a day 3 pick, especially since the Cowboys would have to give him a sizable pay raise, likely in the $15 million range per year given his production in 2024. The Dallas Cowboys are less than a week away from kicking off their first training camp under head coach Brian Schottenheimer, as the team will arrive in Oxnard, California on Sunday, July 20th, before taking the field for the first of 16 practices in Southern California on Tuesday, July 22nd. While new faces will be featured on both sides of the ball, there will also be a lot of attention on returning talent following a 7-10 campaign in 2024 that underwhelmed expectations in Dallas. As a result, a handful of position battles are shaping up ahead of the team's arrival in the Golden State. Here are the 5 biggest battles to watch going into camp. Running back: a lackluster performance from the running back position group for most of the 2024 season forced the Cowboys to rebuild that room going into 2025. But even though there are 4 new names in the mix, there isn't a ton of clarity on how the depth chart will shake out. Free agent additions Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders join rookie 5th-round pick Jaden Blue as contenders for the starting job, while the losers of that battle will work into a mix joined by Deuce Vaughn and rookie 6th-round pick Phil Maffa for the backup role. With so much up in the air at the position, it will be crucial for the eventual starter to stack good days in Oxnard from the very beginning, even if it's a tough position to truly separate outside of a game environment. With that, preseason games could be de facto tryouts. Cornerback: with the health of Trayvon Diggs and rookie 3rd-round pick Siobhan Revel Jr. up in the air, a handful of cornerbacks will be playing for meaningful playing time early in the season. Darren Bland is probably the only safe starter going into camp at either nickel or on the boundary, even though new addition Kaiir Elam does find himself in the driver's seat to start on the outside after a strong minicamp and OTA performance. Who the third starter is along with that duo could end up being the big question as camp progresses, as Israel Mukumu, Kalen Carson, Keeman Hall, and Wanya Thomas could all find themselves in the mix. If Revel makes his way back from his torn ACL that he suffered last October before camp concludes, he will have a decent shot at landing a Week 1 start as well. But as long as Diggs remains out, multiple spots are up for grabs in the secondary. Tight end Jake Ferguson's position atop the depth chart is not in jeopardy going into training camp, but who backs him up is very much a question mark. Luke Schoonmaker couldn't provide consistency in each of his first 2 seasons, and now Brevin Spanford is fastly approaching Schoonmaker's spot on the depth chart. After a strong offseason program, Spanford is in prime position to overtake the 2023 2nd-round pick. The rest of the room remains a mystery as well, as John Stevens Jr. works his way back from 2 consecutive ACL tears. Princeton Fant looks to carve another special teams role on the 53-man roster, and the undrafted duo of Tyler Neville and Rivaldo Fairweather look to make their mark. Defensive end: easily the most talent-rich position group on the roster. The defensive end position will have the luxury of figuring out which star pass rusher is best to throw out with the starting 11 next to Micah Parsons. The Cowboys signed Dante Fowler Jr. to an expensive 1-year deal, Sam Williams returns from an ACL tear he suffered at camp in 2024, looking to prove his worth in a contract year, and rookie second-round pick Donovan Ezeuruako enters with sky-high expectations. In the depth unit, who emerges as the lead rotational edge rusher, will also have more players vying for valuable playing time. Peyton Turner arrives in Dallas after finally notching a healthy season in 2024 with the New Orleans Saints, and Marshawn Kneeland brings value as a run defender after being drafted in the second round in 2024. Defensive tackle: could 2023 first-round pick Motzi Smith lose his starting job? It's not likely, but it's not impossible either. With his wide 330-pound frame, rookie 7th-round pick Jay Toya could prove to bring more on early downs, and he could push for priority, playing time over Smith. Regardless, the depth at the one-technique position will have eyeballs, as it could lead to a situation where an outside veteran is signed if the current options don't prove to have acceptable value in training camp.